Ice Spice album flopped. She can't come back from this. Talk about one of the biggest flops of the year, that is. If you ever rated Ice Spice music in the first place. Despite the buzz leading up to its release, the project has been widely labeled pathetic, and now fans are raising questions about her future in the music industry. Let's explore the reasons behind the album's disappointing performance and why Ice Spice can't make a comeback from this major setback. To understand that this is not just hearsay or people hating on Ice, at the beginning of the year she had over 39 million listeners on Spotify, but now she has about 15.5 million. How do you lose almost 25 million listeners in less than a year? Well, with lines like, "I miss poopy, but I never smell," and "I miss poopy, like I need a diaper." It's not shocking. And yes, those lines are from her newest Y2K album. People aren't shocked by this downward spiral and her already terrible lyricism. It has been said that her music was designed more for a quick TikTok view than for long-term popularity. Her songs lacked any depth and were mainly popular because she worked with Drake, which increased her social media following. Then again, they were the catchy beats and her image. But again, even with the lack of skill, Ice Spice was able to deliver whatever she had cooked up in the studio with confidence and convince everyone that her music may be trash, but she could still make it sound good. Next 4 years, this worked for her, at least until last year. Finally, when she announced she was working on dropping a full-length album, this was her chance to prove what kind of artist she really was and see if she could secure her place in the future of the genre. This was the biggest moment in her career so far, and one of the most anticipated albums in rap in recent years. And many assumed she had spent time improving her rap skills. Some even imagined or hoped that she had employed an actual songwriter to give her music some life. Ice and her team spent time creating noise that heightened the people's expectations of the album. From her pretending to date Central C and stirring up drama as a marketing trick to go on streaming with Kai Cenat, which honestly grabbed attention but didn't focus on her album at all. And during the stream with Kai, when he asked Ice to freestyle, she ignored him and turned to the camera to start twerking. Clearly, this rapper had forgotten her primary job was rapping, not twerking. During one of her onstage performances for the promotion of the album, a moment went viral. She turned her back to the crowd to twerk, something she had done a million times, but she looked very bored and uninterested. Why make good music if you can't twerk in your sleep? All these were over-the-top moments that had nothing to do with her music. Every part of gearing up for this project felt forced, manipulative, and like they even knew what was coming, and they just had to create enough commotion to keep Ice relevant after she released her album. Ice Spice finally dropped her debut studio LP, Y2K, and it felt like Ice Spice couldn't handle the spotlight because her album was immediately labeled one of the biggest musical failures in a long time. The album, even by Ice Spice's standards, is so lacking in personality that it not only reflects poorly on her team, but also on the external hands that helped her and herself. One of the best comments on the album read, "It's a bad look for the music industry when an artist promoted as a rising star with big industry backing and a huge budget still puts out an album with weak lyrics." It continues, "If even top connections and major support led to low-effort work like this, it makes you wonder what's really going on behind the scenes. It feels like the industry is pushing us to like artists with little talent and poor quality music instead of just giving us good songs." With 10 tracks lasting only 23 minutes, it's clear the songs were quickly and carelessly put together to create a terrible track list. Despite all the branding and hype around the name, the entire project is simply forgettable. Ice Spice's songs tend to be mostly carefree and playful, but even at its core, this album doesn't even succeed in sounding fun for parties and clubs. Nearly every song on the album seems designed to go viral on TikTok, and you can feel it in the forced and unnatural flow, both in the sound and lyrics. Ice Spice seems to chase virality, which only worsens things constantly. Clearly, Ice Spice is simply trying to reuse the same formula over and over, but she can't even do that right. Even though it's obvious she's not a good songwriter, her one-liners and punchlines used to be clever and appealing. This album doesn't even have those. Instead, there are lines like, standing on shit like a floor mat. You think you the shit bitch? You not even the fart. I miss Poopy like I need a diaper. And the redemption of the fact that she is Miss Poopy. Why would we need to be hyped about a nickname that reminds us of the toilet? Even though the album had big name features like Travis Scott, whose input was somewhat good but buried under the generic beats Ice Spice uses. Other features, like Gunna, don't add much to the music either. The only collaboration that seemed to have any merit was the one with Central C, which was because Central C brought his A game, and the beat was slightly more interesting than the rest of the album. But that was just one track out of a whole album. Perhaps a collaboration is what Ice Spice needs. However, some would argue that without her improving her craft, it wouldn't matter. Similar artists like Coi Leray, who blew up roughly the same way Ice did, have built their music up to convey a sense of introspection and vulnerability, even exploring more mature themes such as relationships and personal growth. While Ice Spice remains stuck in a dried-up routine, ironic because the height of her Munch It, Princess Diana, and Boy's a Liar fame, social media was on her side and even accused Coi of using photos taken with Ice Spice at New York Fashion Week to boost her own career. And Coi had to delete those pictures immediately. Funny how quickly stories change. Another thing that needs to change is Ice Spice's approach to making music. This new album damages the music culture for newer generations, showing that the value of albums is at an all-time low. Y2K is a joke, and Ice Spice failed.